Hello, family. The movie begins with Isabelle, a young girl sunbathing on a beach. Felix, her boyfriend, is looking for her and has come to her house to meet her. So Isabelle's brother approaches her and informs her about Felix. She begs her brother not to tell their mother that Felix is her boyfriend. But Isabelle's mother finds out anyhow and invites Felix over for supper. But Isabelle refuses to say Felix is stupid. She then returns to the beach with her brother. She runs across Felix, who is also visiting the beach. He invites Isabelle to spend the evening with him. Isabelle agrees to accompany him, but because her family might prevent her from stepping outside in the evening, she asks her brother to distract the family so she can go through the back door. Isabelle and Felix go to the beach after buying some ice cream. Felix kisses Isabelle after a period of talking, and the two meet passionately. Isabelle didn't enjoy it because it was her first time. Felix then escorts Isabelle home and departs. Isabelle's brother is sleeping in her bed since he is concerned about her health. He is aware of what occurred between Isabelle and Felix and requests that she tell him everything. But Isabelle refuses to discuss it and orders her brother to leave. Isabelle celebrates her 17th birthday a few days later. She didn't invite Felix to her birthday celebration because she no longer wants him around. Isabelle and her family plan to leave after a few days because summer vacation is coming to an end. Isabelle spots Felix riding down the road on her way home, but she ignores him and continues on her journey because she no longer wants to be in a relationship with him. The autumn season is here, and time has passed. Isabelle is now on her way to a hotel, where a client named George has reserved a room for her. When Isabelle walks into the room, she is surprised to meet George, who has lied about his age and is much older than he claims. George hands Isabelle a drink and inquires about her age. Isabelle tells George she is a student and also lies about her age, claiming to be an adult. Isabelle and George finally meet after some time of talking. Isabelle is now a high-end meeting partner who meets with men for money. She finds her clientele and offers them our services through an online website. In class one day, a poem is being discussed by the students. According to one student, the poem is about a summer romance in which a young man or woman wishes to try something new. Another student claims that even if the person gets the desired adventure, he or she will still be alone with no one to love or care about. It is a never-ending cycle of love and misery. In some ways, the poem depicts Isabelle's life, who is going through a similar cycle of love and sadness and is yearning for something. Before meeting Isabelle's customer, one of her clients calls her. After the lesson, Isabelle walks to a public restroom to change her clothes in order to appear more professional and mature. Isabelle then travels to the hotel, where a client is waiting for her. They enter the room together and the man does not touch Isabelle and instead enjoys himself by observing her naked. As Isabelle prepares to depart, she requests payment, but her client refuses to pay her in full and threatens to expose her by notifying her parents. Isabelle becomes terrified and returns home without saying anything. Isabelle's mother invites Isabelle to accompany her to the theater. Isabelle refuses and makes reasons, but her mother persuades her regardless. They also go to the theater, then Isabelle notices George with a different woman. While departing, Isabelle establishes eye contact with George and flirts with him. Isabelle notices her mother with a family friend and assumes they are having an affair. The next day, Isabelle travels to meet George in a hotel, where they have a passionate shower. Isabelle discovers that George is taking drugs prior to meeting with her. Isabelle and George develop feelings for each other and begin meeting frequently. Isabelle asks George about the woman she saw at the theater one day. George replies that the woman is his daughter. He is attempting to repair his relationship with his daughter, who has been engaged with George for a long time. After a period of conversing, they continue to meet. George has a heart attack during the act and dies on the scene. Isabelle tries everything to bring George back, but it's too late. Isabelle is terrified and rushes out of the hotel room, not wanting to become a suspect. A few days ago, and now it's winter, the cops have discovered Isabelle and have confronted Isabelle's mother at her workplace. They inform Isabelle's mother of George's death and inform her that Isabelle is an escort and ask her, when was the last time you saw George? However, because Isabelle is just 17 and not yet an adult, she will be deemed a victim in this case and will not have to go to jail. The police arrive at Isabelle's residence and search her laptop, where they discover the webpage Isabelle used to communicate with her clients. They also discover all of the money Isabelle received from her adult services. When Isabelle returns home, her mother confronts her and beats her mercilessly. When Isabelle's mother has calmed down, Isabelle informs her that she has resigned and that she is no longer an escort. Isabelle travels to the police station the next day to deliver her story. She claims that a man followed her after school a few months ago and offered her money to meet with her. Isabelle initially declined his offer, but a week later she changed her mind and agreed to see the man because she wanted to test out the adult business. When the cops inquire whether Isabelle will continue to provide adult services, Isabelle declines. Isabelle also says that George used to take drugs before meetings, which may have contributed to the heart attack due to overdosing. When Isabelle asks about her money once she comes home, Isabelle's mother tells her that they are going to see a therapist the next day. Her mother informs her that she will donate all of her money to charity. Isabelle and her mother visit the therapist the following day. Isabelle is to visit with the therapist once a week. Isabelle should be given all of her money back. According to the therapist, Isabelle's life has returned to normal after some time has passed. When Peter and his wife return home, she will be responsible for their children. Isabelle then walks away. Peter offers to drive her home, but Peter's wife refuses and goes herself, fearing Isabelle would seduce her husband. Isabelle returns home to discover her stepfather alone on the couch. Isabelle begins flirting with him, which irritates her stepfather. Isabelle's mother sees them together and is disgusted by her daughter. She has no idea why Isabelle is acting this way or what has happened to her. She tries to communicate with Isabelle in order to grasp her thoughts, but Isabelle assures her that she is fine. Isabelle visits the therapist the following day. She admits to having come upon the webpage before and she grew captivated by connecting with clients. Isabelle also confesses that she liked George a lot because he was always sweet to her and cared about her. Isabelle no longer wants to be an escort after his death since it reminds her of George. Later, Isabelle goes to see a friend who has recently gone through a split to console her. Isabelle invites her to attend a party with her, and Isabelle encounters a man who has a crush on her. The man approaches Isabelle and asks for permission to kiss her, and she responds, yes. Soon after, the two kisses and Isabelle begins a relationship with him, and then they begin spending time together and soon become lovebirds. The spring season has arrived and time has passed. Isabelle and her lover had decided to meet in her room. Isabelle later confesses to her partner that she doesn't love him and intends to leave their relationship. Isabelle then reactivates the phone number she used to contact her clients. Soon after, she begins to receive a flood of messages, one of which was from George's wife, who wanted to meet Isabelle. Isabelle agrees to meet her and returns to the same hotel where she and George previously met. Isabelle's beauty is admired by George's wife, who takes her to the same room where George died. George's wife lies down on the bed with Isabelle and touches her in the same manner George used to. George's wife wanted to visit the woman who had given George so much pleasure that he had fallen in love with her. George's wife understands that she, too, was once like Isabelle. This was why George kept running into Isabelle, who reminded him of his wife when she was younger. Isabelle falls asleep shortly after. When she awakens, she notices that George's wife has left. So that was the tale of the young and beautiful. This is how our movie ends. See you in the next video. We hope that you enjoy your time and have a good day.